The untold brutal realities of pregnant enslaved black women. The lives of enslaved black women were marked by unimaginable cruelty, but the horrors they faced during pregnancy and childbirth stand out as some of the most devastating. This is a chapter of American history rarely discussed, yet it reveals the depth of slavery's brutality. Today, we uncover the raw, unfiltered truth about what these women endured, a story of pain, resilience, and survival that demands to be heard. If you're ready to confront this hidden history, like this video and stay with us as we honor the women whose strength carried them through unimaginable suffering. A harsh reality: pregnancy under slavery. For enslaved black women in the 17th to 19th centuries, pregnancy offered no reprieve from the grueling demands of plantation life. Far from being a time of care, it was a period of intensified hardship. Enslavers saw these women not as mothers or individuals, but as tools for labor and reproduction. Pregnant women were forced to toil in the fields, picking cotton, tending tobacco, or hauling heavy loads, right up until labor began. Swollen ankles, aching backs, and the weight of a growing child did nothing to lighten their workload. Falling behind meant punishment, regardless of their condition. When labor started, many women gave birth in the fields, surrounded by dirt and indifference. Others were carried to cramped, dark slave quarters, left to deliver without medical care or comfort. There were no doctors, no sterile tools, and often no clean water. Enslaved midwives, relying on ancestral knowledge, herbs, and sheer instinct, provided what little support was available. But their resources were limited. Complications like hemorrhaging or breech births often led to death for mother, child, or both. Infections were rampant, and stillbirths were heartbreakingly common. Historical records reveal chilling examples of this neglect. In the 1850s, a physician described a woman named Ali, whose uterus had prolapsed due to repeated, traumatic births. Instead of offering rest or proper care, the doctor devised a device to hold her uterus in place, prioritizing her return to fieldwork over her health. This was the reality: enslaved women were valued only for their productivity, not their humanity. A newborn was not a child to cherish but a commodity to be sold or worked. The immediate return to labor. After giving birth, enslaved women were granted little to no recovery time. Some were forced back to the fields within hours, others within a day or two. Records describe women picking cotton with newborns strapped to their backs, their bodies still raw from childbirth. This relentless pace was deliberate. Enslavers knew the risks but cared only about profit. A mother's death was a minor loss, another could be purchased. A surviving child was an investment, destined for labor or sale. The law offered no protection. Pregnant women could be whipped, their growing bellies no shield from the lash. The cruelty was calculated, designed to maximize output while disregarding life. Yet, despite these conditions, many women survived, their endurance a testament to their strength and a reflection of the unbearable cost they paid. Forced reproduction after 1808. The 1808 ban on importing enslaved Africans marked a turning point. Unable to rely on new arrivals, enslavers turned to forced reproduction to sustain their workforce. Enslaved women's bodies became factories for profit, their pregnancies a means to increase wealth. Thomas Jefferson, a celebrated founding father, openly calculated the value of enslaved women based on their ability to bear children every 2 years, viewing their offspring as assets, not families. Enslavers deliberately paired women with men to produce children, often through coercion or rape. Consent was irrelevant, resistance was met with violence. Women deemed good breeders were sold at higher prices, their worth tied to their wombs. William Ward, a formerly enslaved man, likened these practices to breeding livestock, with children sold off like cattle. Mary Reynolds, another survivor, recounted women forced to bear child after child, only to see them taken away as soon as they could survive without their mother's milk. This system stripped women of agency. Their bodies, their relationships, and their children were controlled by enslavers. The trauma of knowing each pregnancy could end in loss of a child sold or a mother broken was a constant weight. Medical exploitation. Beyond the plantations, enslaved women faced another layer of horror: medical experimentation. White physicians, like Dr. J. Marian Sims, exploited their bodies under the guise of science. Between 1845 and 1849, Sims performed painful surgeries on enslaved women with vesicovaginal fistulas, a debilitating condition caused by prolonged labor. Without anesthesia, despite its availability, Sims operated on women like Lucy and Anaka, who endured dozens of procedures. Lucy nearly died from an infection caused by a sponge left in her body. Anaka underwent over 30 surgeries. Sims later used anesthesia for white patients, revealing his belief that black women felt less pain, a racist myth that justified their suffering. Other doctors followed suit, using enslaved women for experimental gynecological procedures. Crude cesarean sections and pelvic manipulations were performed without sanitation or consent, leaving women maimed or dead. These acts were not about healing but about refining techniques for the benefit of white patients and advancing medical careers. Resistance and resilience. Despite this brutality, enslaved women resisted. Midwives, often elderly women in the quarters, became pillars of community care. Known as granny midwives, they delivered babies, treated infections, and eased pain using herbal remedies passed down through generations. Their knowledge, rooted in African traditions and adapted to the New World, was a lifeline when white doctors were absent or harmful. These midwives created moments of solidarity, turning childbirth into an act of defiance against a system that dehumanized them. Some women risked their lives to resist forced reproduction, using herbs to prevent or end pregnancies. These acts were dangerous but represented a desperate grasp for control in a world that offered none. By sharing knowledge and caring for one another, enslaved women preserved their dignity and cultural heritage, passing down traditions that sustained their communities long after emancipation. A lasting legacy. The horrors faced by enslaved black women during pregnancy reveal the depths of slavery's cruelty. Their bodies were exploited for labor, reproduction, and experimentation, their motherhood stripped of joy or safety. Yet their resilience laid the foundation for future generations. After emancipation, many midwives continued their work, becoming vital to black communities' health and preserving traditions of communal care. This history is not just a record of suffering but a testament to strength. By remembering these women, we honor their endurance and confront the legacy of a system that sought to erase them. Their stories demand to be told, their voices amplified. If this moves you, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep their memory alive. Watch more on our channel to uncover the truths history tried to bury. See you in the next one.